On this episode, I bring the bucket, Leo, and DeMayo.
You ask questions, and I answer them. This is the Ask Gary V Show.
Hey everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is episode 136 of the Ask Gary V Show. I'm fired up on this. It is, like I just said, mug. It is muggy as hell in New York City. I'm like sweating right now, disgusted by the weather, but very excited because today is an extremely special day. That special day is the fact that it is my father, Sasha Vaynerchuk's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. I love you very, very much. All of you that watch the show know how much of a factor my parents are in my life, and you know, the time I spent with my dad working every weekend, every holiday vacation, every summer, and then the first decade of my professional career are moments I think about all the time, are constantly running in my brain in parallel to as I navigate the world. And I love you very much, Dad. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Playa. Playa, my former assistant. Oh, we have that Instagram photo of me and all the assistants. Let's put that up. Let's not forget that. Let's put that up. Playa, happy birthday. And so we've got that. And then big shout out to Facebook Live, because we're doing that right now. DeMayo holding it down, current assistant status. And that's about it. I think there's a football game tonight. The level of hate that I have for both these franchises, I mean, the disdain I have for Pittsburgh and New England is so over the top, I'm not even gonna go into it. But there is one picture from the way I was reacting to the Steeler fans last year in New York, D-Rock. Oh, Stefan, by the way, let's actually start talking about this. Stefan has taken over core editing control, and so all the love you're giving to D-Rock now needs to shift to Stefan. At the same token, all the razzing you gave D-Rock for getting the fireballs last time, that was Stefan's major miss. Rookie mistake, we'll let it go this time. DeMayo, you might be editing this show if Stefan makes another mistake. So, all right, let's bucket. Let's get into the show. So you've been asking for it. Stun will be very happy that we've actually used the Reddit community to get feedback. And the bucket, which I don't even, D-Rock, you're the only one that has a prayer here. Do you know what episode the bucket was on? No. Oh, Stefan. All right, well, the bucket made an appearance once. People liked it. We're bringing it back. So random questions from the bucket. Andy K is here. I feel like you're Leonardo DiCaprio in Growing Pains, like a random new person out of nowhere. That was a tremendous compliment. All right, Andy, here we go. Let's read them up.
Hi, Gary V. Why would you spend money on a Facebook dark post on me when I follow you and I have notifications on? Isn't it a waste of money?
This is tremendous because you read this. This is so serendipitous. If you guys don't know, Andy does a ton of the paid performance around my brand and wine library. And so Andy, I think you actually can answer this question better than I can. What we're targeting is, we're targeting my fans on certain content, retargeting them because organically you're not reaching everybody when you post something, and there's certain things that I want everybody to see. And Andy, am I right or wrong, or do we even know yet, with the new with the way the notifications are on, there's no way to exclude people that have put us on First Look or anything yet? Yet. And that's it. So the answer to the question is quite simple. The reason I'm targeting you is because there are certain pieces of content that I want to make sure as many people as possible see above and beyond my normal organic reach, which is pretty high. We tend to get 60 to 100,000 of the 320,000 that we have, which is extremely high. But sometimes I want all 320,000 of you on Facebook to see something. And so I'm willing to waste those pennies. Not to mention, is it a waste? Sometimes, think about, you know what? D-Rock, get back, get Andy out of the way. Let's get focused for a second here. Here's a little side question, statement of the day. Let's go into statement of the day number 1 here. In the comment section on YouTube and Facebook, please step up, lurkers. You're pissing me off. Summer's over. Vacation is over, lurkers. Get your asses in the comments. The show's free. I need comments from you. It is my oxygen. As you can tell, I'm not joking around. Leave in the comments if you've watched a piece of content more than once. The answer is, let me save you a lot of time. The answer is, most of you have watched tons of my content more than once, and so even if it's wasted, a lot of times somebody will watch a second time, a third time. One of the great ego boosts I get are the emails I get that say things like, wow, I just watched this talk for the 7th time and I picked up on new things. Because as your career evolves, same with mine, as our careers evolve, other things that were said now mean more than they did 6 months ago. And so that's why I do it. Andy?
Gary V, jab, 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 right hook. What's your business model behind the Ask Gary V show?
The business model behind the Ask Gary Vee show is pretty simple. It is completely a broad awareness game. I want more exposure. Exposure is leverage, especially when you've got chops. The more people that know that I'm not just charisma, hyperbole, bullshit, hype, and that I have depth is something that is important for my brand. Statement of the day in the comments, leave if you originally thought that I was just another bullshit marketer, and have I won you over with you doing the homework about me actually building real businesses multiple times, and have listened to things that I've talked about here that you wouldn't expect from a bullshit marketer. And so anything that puts me in a position to show my depth in a world where I know that my personality creates a scenario where people may not think that I have that depth is an important process for me. Once I had the infrastructure to be able to do it, I did it. And so the business model is quite simple. It's about more leverage around me, which leads to, in the short term, things like getting paid more for public speaking, selling more books, getting asked to do TV and other things, and getting on 40 under 40 lists, which creates more exposure, and it's a rabbit wheel. It leads to better employees coming into VaynerMedia. It leads to more people buying on wine deals, the greatest place on Instagram to buy wine. It leads to a lot of other things. It leads to depth with current employees because they get to see so much more about me. As a matter of fact, here's a statement of the day. VaynerMedia lurkers, because I know there's a lot of you, some of you have been writing some awesome feedback notes that are completely taken from the Ask Gary Vee show. VaynerMedia employee lurkers get in the comments on this episode and say, hey, so it's given me the ability to scale my thoughts and strategies to my own employees. My mom gets to see me every day. She watched yesterday's episode twice because AJ was in it. she 2 for 1 for mom, I love you. There's an enormous amounts of ROI business models in the concept of putting out great content. Putting out great content, if I may say so myself, is always the right idea. DeMayo, they're gonna like that one, and I think you're gonna get some good comments there from Facebook Live.
Some guy said he was driving 77 miles per hour.
All right, dude, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not drive and watch the show. It's dangerous.
Gary V, tips to reach only local residents on social. We have a recycling program that's specific to our county.
You weren't on Andy there. Oh, but you caught him? Yeah. Good. Edit that, because if you saw Andy's reaction as the paid performance guy, it's a ludicrous question. It means that, as a matter of fact, what I just said, a ludicrous question, can you guys impose ludicrous in between, like next to me? Get out the way. Oh, baby. It's a ludicrous question if you've been watching the show. Who asked that question? Liz. If you've been watching the show for the last 130 episodes, then I think you're just mailing in your question, but I'm glad you got on the show because it's fun to be on the show. But Liz, it's so simple, Facebook targeting. That's it. Like, you can literally put your business address and run a radius around it, or everybody in the 07081 zip code or the 08802 Asbury, Jersey in the house zip code, and everybody will see it in that zip code, in that feed. It's a piece of cake. You can do localized ads with Instagram now. You can do localized ads with Twitter. It's the only place you can do this kind of stuff outside of direct mail, which is very, very expensive for the ROI of the attention, because everybody throws their direct mail in the trash. Like this question. All right, next. I hope we don't ask the same question.
Ask Gary V.
Oh, you need this? Not really. You don't need the paper.
What are the differences
You don't need it.
in the way you deal with small versus big accounts clients?
There's a ton of differences. When you're dealing with small or big businesses, senior or junior employees, big or small in all shapes and sizes in business, really dictate very different strategies. So small accounts a lot of times don't have the same budgets. Small accounts often have chips on their shoulder and lack confidence. I think one of the great things we do for small accounts is actually bring a little bravado to them, because I'm more comfortable actually coming from small to going big, because that's what I do, right? And so you need to be scrappier. You need to build self-esteem more. I think big needs the reverse a lot of times. We need to make sure they don't waste their money because they've, the sorrows of riches, or what is it? What is it called? Anyway, all right. Thanks for being there for me, Andy. Like the spoils of riches or whatever it's called. Like they have so much money, sometimes they just mail in and waste a ton of it. I think a lot of times our biggest brands need a huge level of humility. So it's really the yin and yang to each other, right? I think the small accounts need that bravado and self-esteem, and like, we can do this, like, screw the big guy. If we're smarter, we can beat them. They're wasting money on TV and other dumb shit. Big accounts, stop wasting money on dumb shit. You're not as big and as cool as you think you are. Somebody small can come and catch you. So those tend to be the two different religious pillars, and they're very important, and having those strategies at the top really, really do matter. Oh, right. It's on me today. Great job, India.
Gary V, do you think people's attention is reaching a max, i.e. it's now a fight between social platforms to grab the pieces?
I think I understand the question. I mean, look, we only have so many hours in a day, right? So I think the basis of the question is very simply, like, how many hours of attention are really up for play? And you've got television, you've got sleeping, you've got eating, you've got working, you've got your phone that has tons of content, you have video games, you have going to the bar, you have fantasy football, you have all these things pulling at your direction, you have your kids, you have your book club. Like, there's only so many hours. And so the leisure hours or the consumption hours have absolutely stayed the same, while the amount of content vying for that attention has exploded. Our grandparents had 3 goddamn TV channels and 2 newspapers and 2 radio stations vying for our attention. Like, that's how you got big. That's how Walter Cronkite was the most famous person in America. Now we have massive fragmentation. And so, yeah, I think the attention has not, the attention is stayed stable, while the things pulling at that attention have grown exponentially, especially over the last 15 years. And the internet has, I mean, if you think cable television or video games of the Nintendo era, or or direct TV then later compares at all to what the internet is doing, it's 1,000 to 1. I mean, the web and the phone. I mean, the phone has become, it's unbelievable to me how absolutely essential that phone is. Xander dropped my phone on Sunday, and me and Matt were scrambling on Monday, and me and Matt were scrambling because Tuesday I was going to LA, and it's just like, and I didn't have my phone for 15 hours, and I was freaking the hell out. It was unbelievable. It was kind of chill, actually, and it only worked for me because it was Monday, Labor Day, into Tuesday, and I was home with the family. If I was to not have my phone now, the only time we ever fix my phone otherwise is when I'm in the office. So I'm here, okay. But literally, I was walking around with my laptop. Thank God I had my update on my iOS, so my text messages were coming in as chat. But otherwise, I would have been whatever. And so, to answer your question, I think it's a war. It will be a continuous war, and the big things in our society are gonna be smaller and smaller because everybody's gonna go into their niches. We're gonna have micro celebrity, micro trends. That long tail is gonna be really, 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 really long. Real long. Super long. Great episode. Tomorrow is one of the most special episodes in the history of the Ask Gary Vee show. I will actually say on record right now, it will absolutely be my favorite all-time Ask Gary Vee episode 100. Throw up the 100 emojis. And don't forget, Stefan, you keep asking questions, because the statement is today, we've done that. You keep asking questions, I'll keep answering them.